Welcome back everyone to the F1 2017 Career Mode Season 3, and you join me for the jewel in the crown that is the Formula 1 calendar, the Monaco Grand Prix. I love that saying. It just makes it sound so important. And a real challenging driver's circuit. And I don't know what it is about F1 2017, but it's given me a new respect for Monaco. I always used to dread racing it, but I don't know what it is just on this year's game, or last year's game, if you want to call it that, maybe. It just clicked. I don't know why, but I really enjoy driving it, because it's just so satisfying to get right, and some of these lovely cinematic shots that you get. Spoiler warning, not spoiler warning, but I was trying a bit of a funky setup. I actually looked up a Monaco Grand Prix setup to give a go, because I wanted to make sure I was competitive in qualifying. And yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. It resulted in some interesting handling, let's put it that way. Anyway, qualifying, we've already gone through Sandoval. We've put a time, it's P7 at the moment as we go through Massenet, just glancing the barriers, slightly unsure through Casino Square. Vettel goes fastest on a 10.9 with 2 tenths of a second down on that as we go through the first sector, then charging through to the Lowe's hairpin, slowest corner on the calendar, 30 miles an hour, nearly brushed the wall. Keep it tight on the curbs as we go through Portier as we now get on the power, and we're 4 tenths up as we charge through the tunnel. Keep it as straight as you can, try and keep it out of the barriers, then burst into the light and break at the 100-metre board for the Nouvelle chicane. Just get it as slowed down as you can, take a big old chunk out the curb, then you're back on the power, charging towards Tabac, bring it in nice and early, run it out as wide as you can, but without hitting the barrier, bring it through Swimming Pool. We're 8 tenths down as we come through. We've taken the Swimming Pool section, not great, as we then come into Rascasse. We're 5 tenths up on our best time through Antonino's, going a bit too wide there on DRS, activation, power. What is it going to be as we charge towards the line? Only 2 minutes left. It's P5. I was a little disappointed with that, because as you can see, at the end of the session, it's P9. Vettel on pole, Hamilton 2 tenths back, Fernando Alonso up in P3. Excellent job by Fernando. Then comes Bottas and Raikkonen, the two Finns, in 4th and 5th. Perez surprising me in 6th. Verstappen and Ricciardo in their now regular positions of 7th and 8th. Myself down in 9th, 1.2 off the pace, which was very disappointing. We need to try and see what we can do in the Grand Prix, and Massa clears out the top 10. But yeah, I didn't really know how to feel. Like I say, I hadn't done the setup myself. It was the first time I've ever used someone else's setup that was posted online. I figured I'd give it a go. Felt okay in practice, but yeah, it just didn't work on the car in a low fuel situation. Not really much to talk about when it comes to the strategy. It is Monaco, so it's going to be a one-stop. And no, obviously, hypersofts aren't in this game yet, but just, yeah. The less we talk about the 2018 actual Monaco Grand Prix, the better. So we're starting P8. Someone must have had some kind of engine penalty. Of course, we have the run up to Sandoval. It's going to be ultras through to supers. It's then just a matter of making sure the ultras, it's about how high up we can try and get ourselves in the early stint, and then maybe try and get an undercut there when we go onto the supers as we build to the lights. All 5 are on. Lights are out and away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix, and it's a good start from Ricciardo. Verstappen a little bit slow. We're going to try and look to see if we can sneak it up the inside of the Red Bull cars into Sandoval, and that's exactly what we've done. Put ourselves into P6 straight away. Perez up to P5. Fernando has lost a position to Bottas off the start there. He's down to P4. Perez there, P5. Obviously, I can't quite tell in relation to Vettel and Hamilton who is in the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix. Is Sebastian Vettel still leading there as we go into the Mirabeau, as it were? So Vettel leads on the first lap there, and now it's about, can we keep up with the field ahead? Can we do anything about the cars ahead? Because of course we know how difficult it is to overtake in Monaco. Can be a little bit of a procession, but if you get close enough and you feel bold enough, you can make a lunge into one of the braking zones. You can see there we close up to Perez nicely into Sandoval, and it's going to be all about keeping up with him in relation to the braking zones. You see here at the end of lap 3, we're so close in Rascasse. If we get Antonino right, can we use DRS? But Perez just gets such a good run out of there. We're not going to get any kind of advantage with DRS, and we're not going to be able to close up and pass him into Sandoval. It's just about trying to keep up behind him. And here on lap 5, we are as close as we've ever been at the top of the hill. Through Massenet now. We've slid a little bit wide, brought the car in nicely. That's allowed me to tuck it in nicely through Casino Square. We're close as ever. We're going to dive down the inside of the Mirabeau. And Perez is still on our left-hand side there. He cuts across me into the Lowe's hairpin. He squeezed himself tight. Can we try and hold it round the outside? Just keeping it out of the barriers. That gives us the inside line into the next right-hander. And it gives us the inside into Portier as we take a purposely wide line, squeeze him out. That is us up ahead of Perez. Overtaking at Monaco. Not impossible. Nice and clean. P5. Thank you very much. That then released me to chase after Fernando Alonso, who was dropping back from the lead 3. We set our personal best of the 14.6. And Vettel, leader of the Grand Prix, Sebastian Vettel, is slowing down due to an issue with his car. Yellow flags up ahead as we come charging up the hill there. You see a car moving slowly. Alonso moves up to P3. Vettel looks like a left rear puncture, that looks like, as we go past him. Vettel, disaster for him. It's a Mercedes 1-2 then. A McLaren 3-4. Perez up to 5th, and the Mercedes are moving slowly. Hamilton is in the lead, but he's carrying some kind of damage as we move on to the end of lap 7. As we come through the swimming pool section, you see that Hamilton leads Bottas, and we close up nicely. We were so quick in race conditions through the final sector. It was just literally traction that was hampering me. But the top 4 all close to each other, and even Perez, if one of us makes a mistake, that Force India is going to be all over us there. So, beginning of lap 8, up the hill, Hamilton leads, Bottas 2nd, Alonso 3rd. We come up again through Massenet, take a wide line, we close up nicely. We can't swing through with all the momentum that I want to, but we need to keep it up, tucked and close. Are we going to lunge past Alonso? Yes, we are. Bottas, we scare him wide. Can we try and pass him on the way down to the Lowe's hairpin? He chops off a bit of our front wing, does Valtteri Bottas. And Hamilton is just crawling around the circuit. What is wrong with the Mercedes? He must be carrying some kind of front wing damage upon the immediate slowdown of Sebastian Vettel. But as you can see there, we've got minor damage to the front wing. So Hamilton's going to slow up the pack. We can deal with the damage for now, but it's about, is it going to be long term? Can we make a move on Bottas? We are going to do it. We're going to lunge down the inside, very late lunge into the Nouvelle chicane. But unfortunately, nothing doing. It was far too late. But Bottas was far too slow, and he left the door so open. I just had no choice. Well, I had a choice, but, you know, I wanted to take it anyway. We come through the swimming pool section. We are still so close up behind the Mercedes driver. As we swing wide through Raskas, Hamilton, clearly realising he's very slow, dives into the pits, but he slowed down so much that once again, our front wing just clipped the back of the Mercedes car of Valtteri Bottas. And you can see that last lap was a 20.1 when our personal best is a 14.6 with 5 seconds off the pace. 2018 Monaco Grand Prix, anybody? Anyway, due to the obviously excess damage and the understeer that we're going to get, I've agreed I'm going to box in at the end of this lap. So now I don't want to hamper Fernando's race, so I'm going to let him through here. And unfortunately, I've let Perez through, so he's capitalised on that opportunity. I need to try and stay ahead of him. We lose more of our front wing against the Force India, but I can't let him overtake me because I need to protect Fernando, and I've got so much understeer, I couldn't turn the car in on the Lowe's hairpin. So Perez has got past me, and we've now got horrific damage to our front wing. So we now have to come in, and then our saving grace, a safety car is called. I think my sort of crash with Perez caused a bit of a pile-up into the Lowe's hairpin. Obviously, I was then asked about changing my strategy. I'm going to keep on the one-stop. We're just going to convert early. Alonso dived in at this point as well. So does Perez. Bottas doesn't. So we're going to lose a bit of time here, obviously, due to Fernando obviously getting the primary service. That's fine. He was on track ahead of us. Fernando fits the soft tyre. We're fitting the super soft. Obviously, there was a delay of about 3.5 seconds there to get the tyres on. Then with the front wing change, this is going to be slow. Danny Rick's got ahead of us. Magnussen, I know he's making a change to his tyres there, so that's fine. He's not jumped ahead of us. That group of 3 cars gets by us. We're going to come out in P15. And we're going to have to take these tyres along our way. 30 or so laps are going to need to be on these super soft tyres. It's a big ask, but if we want a good result, that's exactly what we're going to need to do. So let's go back to the start of the Grand Prix and see what happened there. You see us coming across there on the right-hand side. You see the two Red Bulls, as Daniel Ricciardo's very low down the grid, and that's exactly why Ricciardo's down in 14th place. He went wide at Saint-Devote, took out a big old chunk out of his front wing, and as we move on, here's the move we made on Perez into Mirabeau. Perez there just lopped across. You see there, obviously, my bit of front wing come off. We hold it somehow around the outside of the Lowe's hairpin that just kept me close enough to him to be able to make a move there into the right-hander, and you then see Perez there get squeezed out on Portier. I was so happy with that move, racing wheel to wheel around Monaco. Anyway, end of lap 11, the safety car coming in. We just about caught the back of the pack. You see them frantically trying to slow the car down and control it. Anyway, so we're going racing again in Rascasse. Magnussen tries something. He went far too deep though into the corner, and we've got Verstappen P12, Hamilton 13, Ricciardo 14, myself 15. All the front runners are low down. Alonso's ahead of all of us, so he's in an excellent position for this weekend. But here we go then. Look at the crawling speed into the Lowe's hairpin. I'm going to try and make a cheeky move against Daniel Ricciardo. I've mounted the curve. That hasn't allowed me the best turning angle, and I kind of put Ricciardo in the wall a little bit. Hands up, Daniel Ricciardo. I do apologise. That was 100% my fault. We move on to lap 13. We've got Ericsson in 11th. Verstappen held up behind him. Hamilton held up behind him, and then obviously myself bearing down on him. You just see my car floating and drifting a little bit. That was obviously with the setup. I don't know what I did with it, but yeah, it was weird. It was a weird feeling car, but obviously I had to carry it through the race. Certain corners it allowed for an excellent slingshot, but on traction it was not fun. You can see here that I have to just attack everywhere in the swimming pool and then close up in Rascasse, as you've got Wehrlein in 10th, so points for Sauber, top job. Then you've got Ericsson 11th, and then you've got guys like Verstappen, Hamilton and myself, and basically the rest of the field just being held up behind them. And where it's so difficult to overtake in Monaco, Magnussen's going to try it into turn 1. He just didn't get close enough though. We've now just got to sit behind him. See, look, the safety car got going lap 12. It's now lap 16, and Ericsson still ahead. I'm now looking at Hamilton, realising my best opportunity might be into Rascasse. I can't even say it's Wehrlein holding him up anymore, because it is blatantly Ericsson. I got my best run of the whole race out of Anthony Nogues, and Hamilton just pulled 4 car lengths on me. I'm, having a little bit of a look into turn 1, but it definitely ain't happening. Lap 17 here. I've finally had enough, and I'm just going to lunge it down the inside of the mirror bar. I've been stuck behind Hamilton for 5 laps, and we actually got the car enough ahead of him there to be able to make the move. So pretty happy with that there. By lap 17, Ericsson's now 8th, Verstappen 9th, so we're moving up into the points. We've made contact with the wall. I don't know how I didn't damage the front wing or the suspension, or the tyre for that matter, and once again, just having a little look, basically mirroring like how wide is my McLaren and how wide is the gap between Verstappen and the wall is basically what I was doing there. We keep it nice and tight through Casino Square, and we're going to lunge it down the inside of Mirabeau once again on Verstappen. We haven't been able to pass him. He comes across, but we just keep it out of the wall and just keep our front wing away from being damaged. So Verstappen there fighting back, and I mean, the amount of overtaking opportunities we've been able to generate in this Grand Prix has been, it was a joy to try and race side by side with people around Monaco. And we come through here once again. I believe Bottas has made his pit stop and he's stuck behind Wehrlein. And of course that then means, so we've got Wehrlein, Bottas, Ericsson, Verstappen, myself. We've all made one pit stop. Arguably, this is now a race for the lead of the Grand Prix. But of course, obviously the Saubers aren't quite involved in that there. Lap 19, you can see what I mean about traction and straight line speed as we come through the chicane just a little bit there. Ericsson goes defensive into Tabak. Bottas has made a move around the outside of Tabak, work on Wehrlein. No idea how he's done that, but we're so close up behind Verstappen. He moves slowly, so we get down the inside of the swimming pool. Wehrlein's locked up. That's made him and Ericsson very slow. Verstappen's still on my outside as we try and go through Rascasse, and now Bottas has been released. I've got 2 Saubers between myself and the guy in net P1. Can't have any of that. So we finally make a move into Rascasse on Marcus Ericsson on lap 20. And Bottas sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on a 13.3. So he has got a lot of speed in that Mercedes. Now that we're released, arguably, we still need to get past Pascal Wehrlein, which is what I'm going to try and do into the Nouvelle chicane here. But just look how much we close up under braking. And then, of course, we take that amount of curb. But then we have to follow Wehrlein in his dirty air through a very fast part of the circuit, you can see there, through the swimming pool section. But we get it right over the curbs, get so much more speed, and we're going to make another big dive on a Sauber into Rascasse. How we did not hit the wall or the Sauber on that move, I will not know. inch perfect overtake there. And we move up into P7 on lap 21. We move to lap 23. You can see here I'm sliding the car through Massenet and Casino Square. And I'm looking at it. Bottas is in 6th. There's 2 cars ahead of him. And that yellow dot that just went through Portier is Fernando Alonso, who is currently running P2. So with the pit stops that are then made, we're up into 5th. We set a personal best of a 14.2. It's still a second slower than Valtteri Bottas. We finally move up into P4 of the Grand Prix on lap 25. Bottas ahead of us P3. The car ahead of him P2. Fernando Alonso is leading the Monaco Grand Prix. Perez, of course, swapped to the soft tyre the same lap as Fernando. He's in P2 and struggling a little bit right now. That's why we've been able to catch up to him and Valtteri Bottas. So this is our moment, basically. We need to capitalise on Perez's slowness. Unfortunately, he's understeered like a boat through Massenet and allow Bottas through. I need to not lose touch with the Mercedes driver. So once again, my favourite overtaking spot of the weekend into Massenet. Once again on Perez, who fights back, causes me to go very sideways. And I think he's cost himself a bit of his front wing there. As then his teammate Esteban Ocon has a look at him through the Lowe's hairpin. Not able to get through, but Perez has dropped back astronomically. By lap 30, Bottas has got away with me. He had far too much pace as we slide it through Casino Square. These tyres are getting very second hand at this point. They've already done the laps they're supposed to do. They've still got to do 10 more. We've got 17 seconds to Fernando. Bottas is 10 seconds ahead of me. Palmer's now half a second behind me. So at this point, I was debating, you know, what we're trying to do. I just want to bring the car home, and I wanted to gauge how fast Fernando was going, and he was in the mid-14s. As you can see there, we're getting that information, mid-14s on those old softs, but we were just cruising at this point, bringing it home. I know Palmer wasn't able to get past me, so we were in the mid-16s. Losing 2 seconds a lap, and you can see there 24 seconds as we begin to start lap 39. I've got a train of Palmer, Massa and Raikkonen. Palmer is finally going to have an opportunity at me round the outside of turn 1, but we positioned the car the best way possible. We're in the mid-17s at this point. And yeah, we're now like over half a minute behind Alonso, but it was just keep the car out of the barriers. They can't get past me if I, you know, make my McLaren wide enough and slow enough. I did make a small mistake through Casino Square there. But Palmer couldn't capitalise and make an overtake into my favourite spot. And just bringing the car home. Just nice and slow. What an action-packed Monaco Grand Prix for sure. As we now come through Portier. And we come to go through the tunnel. We get the message I didn't think I'd see. Here is Fernando Alonso round Anthony Nogues across the line. And Fernando Alonso for McLaren Honda is a Grand Prix winner at the track everyone wants to win at. Congratulations to Fernando. Valtteri Bottas brings it home in second. I've made contact with the wall into back. I'm actually going so slowly, I can't even concentrate. Ride the curbs through swimming pool into Rascas, defensive line. I've forgotten how to drive at this point. I was just concentrating and so sweaty. Through Anthony Nogues. Rich mix towards the line. Dead tyres. P3 at Monaco.
Great work. Well done. We're really happy with the podium here.
Here come our winning drivers then, out onto the podium at the end of a thrilling Grand Prix. The drama and excitement are over, and it's time to let it all sink in. Congratulations to our top 3 today.
So Fernando Alonso wins the Monaco Grand Prix by 4.2 seconds over Valtteri Bottas. We bring it home 35 seconds back for P3, 1-3 for McLaren, and as you know, as Jeff said, happy with the podium, and then ecstatic for Alonso's win. Palmer 4th from 14th, an excellent drive from the Renault driver there today, and definitely must have capitalised on the safety car. Then Massa and Raikkonen were just behind me. Stroll picking up points for Williams, and Kvyat down in 8th. Vettel and Hamilton had a disaster of a weekend and a 2-stop strategy finish, 40-odd seconds back. The Sauber's just missing out on a few points there. Ricciardo had to do 3 stops. Sorry, Danny, that was That was me. And Carlos Sainz was disqualified, but no DNFs, just a disqualification. That moves myself 34 points clear of P2, which is Valtteri Bottas. Then, of course, we have Raikkonen on 70 points there, and Hamilton down in P5. Alonso jumps to P6, doubling his points tally in one Grand Prix. Up to 50 points there, and P6 in the championship, ahead of both Red Bull drivers, who are on the same points, interestingly enough, there. So, I'm ecstatic for Fernando's win. Swapping to the soft tyre at that point of the Grand Prix was a very smart decision, and that moves McLaren 28 points clear at the top of the table as Mercedes overtake Ferrari by 2 points, and Red Bull languishing in 4th place, but a bit of a gap there to Force India. And Sauber now the only team not to score points. I think that's not new news, but looking at it that way, Renault jumped to 7th because of the 12 points there that Palmer got them. But that has been the Monaco Grand Prix of Season 3. I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope it was a little bit more entertaining than the real-life Grand Prix. That's what I set myself out to do with that one. The setup was weird. I don't know why, the car was very floaty on some of the bumps rather than sort of, riding along the road. But I suppose that's what you get for trying a setup that's not something you're used to. I like to, use a lot of my own setups, but I was curious. I was like, I wonder what other people do around Monaco. And yeah, whatever that guy who used that setup posted, kudos to you, because that car was an absolute handful. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Please leave a like if you did, and comment any feedback down below. Next time up is Canada. And Canada, of course, where we got our first Grand Prix victory of our career back in Season 2. Let's hope that we can do something equally as special going into Season 3. Of course, please subscribe and enable those notifications to be notified and first to know about content that comes to the channel. And I shall see you all next time.